Hey, Champion Life Math and History, and we are going to look at part 2 of the zero product with trinomials. So in the last video, we have been taking a look at what happens when you make an equation equal to 0 and what is the variable, or what does a variable equal when the equation equals 0. And we've also been taking a look at when we factor a quadratic trinomial, what is the x-intercepts of a quadratic trinomial if we are able to graph that, and what strikes to the x-axis. So that is what we've been learning about with the zero product with trinomials. When we were doing the last video, we had been seeing a lot of equations and examples that seem to look like this. K squared plus 6k plus 5. But that's when you have a 0. But what happens if you would try to solve these kind of problems? Unlike this kind of problem, you might notice something very strange, because instead of having the equation equal 0 as you wanted it to be, it actually equals negative 30. So you might be asking, wait, how do we find the x-intercepts of this quadratic trinomial? Or how do we even find the factor of it when you don't have 0 as an equal sign? Well, what we could do is try to move that negative 30 to the other side. Here's an example. If we add this side by 30 and add this side by 30, we're going to get x squared plus 11x plus 30, and that is our quadratic trinomial. But we wanted it to equal 0 because we want to try and find what two numbers could be x if this equation equals 0. But we're using this one. So we're going to put this as equal 0. When you have an equation or an expression that doesn't have an equal to 0, then you might want to put that number to the other side, so you make your quadratic trinomial. Then put it to 0. After that, you can factor it out and normally do the process when finding the two numbers that represent for x. So we have x squared plus 11 plus 30. What we're going to be doing is try and factor out this quadratic trinomial. So we're going to use the diamond problem, put 30 on the top and 11 on the bottom, because 30 is going to be on the top, representing as the letter C. 11 is going to be on the bottom, representing the letter B. So what two numbers could multiply up to 30 and add up to 11 at the same time? Well, what we can do is write 5 and 6, because 5 times 6 equals 30, and 5 plus 6 equals 11. So we can rewrite the equation as x plus 5 and x plus 6. When we do that, we're going to use these two expressions, drag them out, and we can equal 0. X plus 5 is going to equal 0. X plus 6 is going to equal 0. When you isolate x, you will find your answer. Minus this by 5, minus this by 6, minus this by 5, minus 6 by 6, and you get x is going to equal negative 5, or x is going to equal negative 6. So these are our x-intercepts, or the two numbers that will represent x if you ever try to graph this equation onto a graph. Let's show the correct answer and show the visual. Yay! We got the problem correct, because when you saw the parabola, you saw that x equals negative 5, 0, and x equals negative 6, 0 as a point will make the parabola strike through where the x-axis is. And that is how we solve the quadratic trinomial when you use the zero product when your equal sign does not equal 0. All you gotta do is put it to the other side to make your left equation bigger. Then, when you do that, write a 0 and you can factor it out and find the x-intercepts normally. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for watching Tao Ping Life Math Industry. Like and subscribe!